Stranger Things has quickly become one of the best shows to ever be released on Netflix, and with good reason. The fantastic acting, the gripping plot, and the characters that keep us coming back to Hawkins for another round with the Upside Down. But the standout actor that has stolen the screen and the show has been none other than Millie Bobby Brown. But did you know that she threatened to leave the show after a certain big death? In today's video, we're going to be going over the death, or perhaps deaths, that led to Millie threatening to leave the show. So stick around to find out who it was and what convinced her to stay. Millie Bobby Brown is the lifeblood of the show, but she almost called it quits early. For those of you who have seen the show, you would know that Millie Bobby Brown plays the very important 11 on Stranger Things, and without her there really would be no show. She's the main character of the show, as she is the only weapon the rest of the Earthbound gang has against the horrors of the Upside Down. Her unique powers and her awkward charm make her a pleasure to watch on screen, and it truly has been a treat to not only see her grow up, but to see her relationship with other humans grow after spending most of her adolescence in Hawkins' lab being used as an experiment. But despite her popularity and importance on the show, Millie threatened to pull the plug on the show after a certain character was killed. And to be frank, I don't even think the biggest Stranger Things fan could guess which character it was that sent her into such a spiral. Eleven spends the majority of her time with the other teenagers of the show, as well as with her adopted dad, Police Chief Hopper. But it was the death of a character that she almost had zero scenes with that sent her into such a tizzy. Billy Hargrove, the brother of Max Hargrove and heartthrob of Season 3, was the character that had Millie almost walk off set. She had created such a great bond with the actor of Billy, Dacre Montgomery, and when it was time for them to say goodbye, she was not pleased. Brown was asked about the incident, and she said, "It sucks sometimes. I loved Billy. I loved Dacre Montgomery, who was killed off in Season 3. I had a really good relationship with him, so for me, it was really hard to let go of that." While it's easy to see why she was angry, there was truly no other way for their working relationship to end. I'm sure most of you remember the epic scene at the Starcourt Mall in which the mind-controlled Billy faced off against Eleven and her friends for the fate of Hawkins and the Upside Down. Billy was used as a tool by the Mind Flayer, and when his usefulness had outstayed its welcome, there was nothing else for the Mind Flayer to do but kill poor Billy. It was an amazing scene that was heartbreaking, but it was absolutely necessary. That one scene set fan-favorite character Max on the character arc that she traversed for all of Season 4, and it sure was a great one to follow. So although we lost a great character and had to watch Max's heart break into a million pieces, there was simply no other way for Billy's time on the show to end. But hilariously, this was not the only time in which Brown was sent to the edge of quitting due to a death on the show. Who else almost made Brown quit the show? While Billy was an important character for the show due to his life and death, setting up a compelling arc for Max, there was another character that unfortunately bit the dust that had much more one-on-one time with Eleven that really affected Millie Bobby Brown's enjoyment of the show. That character was none other than Dr. Martin Brenner, aka Papa. Papa obviously had a great number of scenes with Brown and her character Eleven, so it's clear to see why his death made her pretty upset. She was also asked about her relationship with actor Matthew Modine, who plays Papa, and she said, "I had a really good relationship with Papa. I had a really good relationship with Matthew, and to let him go was really hard." Brown spent a lot of her time on set and in filming with Modine as their characters interacted often, with Papa doing all he could to get Eleven to unlock her full potential and be the weapon that he wanted her to be. The actors had excellent chemistry and dynamic scenes that made us latch on even tighter to Eleven and despise the crooked scientist that was Papa. His death scene was also a great scene with a heavy dollop of irony. Papa pushed Eleven to be a killing machine, and he didn't care how much it hurt her. And in the end, she finally unlocked her full potential and was the reason he met a grisly end. If Papa had spent less time pushing her to be a weapon and had spent more time being a role model and a father, if that is something you want to call him, then maybe not only would Eleven have found her full potential sooner, but she may not have been the one who punched his ticket to hell. But as much as these two characters were at odds on the screen, the actors had a great deal of respect and admiration for each other. Obviously, Brown had nothing but good things to say about Modine, but Modine also had nothing but good things to say about Brown. When asked about Brown almost quitting the show and being upset with them leaving the show, he too commented on how much he was going to miss her and her family. Brown apparently spent a lot of time joking about with Modine, as he couldn't help but talk about her sense of humor. She's English, so similar humor. Her parents get along really well with my partner and my friends, who were there with me. You know, our humor is very blunt. We don't leave much to the imagination. Unfortunately, Modine and Brown will have to start leaving jokes to their imagination, as they will not be sharing the screen again, at least not on Stranger Things. However, there is a chance that Modine finds his way back to the show in a dream, or a cameo of some sort, much like Montgomery did in Season 4. Despite dying in Season Season 3. But even if this death had been enough for Brown to leave the show, I'm sure it would be easy for the Duffer Brothers, the creators of the show, to convince their star to come back to the show for one more season, as it will be the final one in the Stranger Things series. Season 5 of Stranger Things will end it all, but could it be done without Eleven? Brown has clearly been upset at the show's decision before, as she hates to see her friends have to leave the show due to their characters dying. But of course, that's the nature of the business. Characters come and go, and without some of them dying, the stakes would be too low, and it would captivate nobody. What makes the show great is that nobody is safe, now including Eleven. Going into the 5th and final season, we are completely unsure as to who will live and who will die. But it's pretty much a guarantee that somebody is going to have to make the ultimate sacrifice at some point in the show. But could it be Eleven? Could the 5th season work without her? What happened if she actually did decide to quit after her friends had left the show? Eleven is the most important character on the show, and with her, the show would be sorta stupid. And hear me out, if she is not fighting for Earth, the Upside Down would walk through the forces of Earth. The monsters and evil that reside down there are simply too strong for any normal warrior, and without Eleven and her strength, the gang is toast, and the show is worthless. So to sum things up, the show could not work without Eleven, so it's a really good thing that she decided to stay. Moreover, I have a feeling she's going to be a massive character in the final season of the show, not only in the likely war for Hawkins, but also in the arcs of all the other characters. Eleven is the one who brought this wide ensemble of characters together, and it'll be because of her that all of the loose ends get tied up. My prediction is that Eleven will be forced to give up her life in order to save her friends, but in the end, Mike won't let her, and he'll put his life on the line in place of hers, and it will be Mike who dies, and Eleven who is forced to navigate the world without him, but with all of the other friends she has made over the course of the show. Moreover, Eleven will do all she can to save Max from Vecna, and find a way to get her back to the world of the living, allowing her and Eleven to have the friendship they both always wanted. However, I think that won't be the end of the death toll, as I foresee fan favorite Steve finally biting the dust during the show's final season. He has turned from the merciless villain to the brave mentor, and every season he fights his heart out and eventually cheats death. But I think this time he will meet his end at the hands of Vecna and his forces, most likely in the service of others. Classic Steve, right? It's almost certainly going to be one hell of a season, and fans cannot wait for the final season that will likely premiere sometime in 2024. And luckily, Millie Bobby Brown will be back to reprise her iconic role, despite the cast being short a few of her friends and previous co-workers. That's all we've got for you guys on the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Were you surprised to hear that Brown was so attached to her co-workers? Who do you think will live, and who do you think will die in the final season of Stranger Things? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. We hope you enjoyed today's content, and we'll see ya in the next one.
Hi.
Hi.